morning, I'm Abhidesh Shrestha, and these are the headlines for this hour. National ID cards fail to replace other documents meant for individual identity for official works, attributed to the lack of clear legal provisions. Resentment between Finance Minister and Governor intensifies, leads to uncertainty in the process of expediting the country's economy. At least 50 people reportedly killed in a powerful suicide bomb blast that targeted a large gathering of top religious figures in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. And Portugal settled for a 1-1 draw against Poland in Group A3 at the UEFA Nations League, secures semi-final berth. The government started distributing the much talked about national identity cards from Monday. The Home Ministry started the distributions from Panchthar and intends to distribute the cards to all the citizens within the next 3 years. However, the national identity card, which was expected to relieve the public from having to carry additional documents like driving license, certificates of immovable property, and voter's ID, among others, has itself turned out to be an additional document that will be needed to be carried for official works. This is mainly due to the lack of clear legal provisions on the degree of facilities for the public and the confusion on the number of authorities that gets access to an individual's information. The government had decided to let the Public Service Commission, Election Commission, Department of Civil Registration and Ministry of Land Reform and Management have the access. However, the decision is yet to be reached. Likewise, the government has also yet to decide on how many authorities can the national ID be used at. The cost of making a single national identity card is around 300 rupees. The World Bank has provided a financial loan of 550 million rupees in the first stage to print the cards. The National Identity Card Management Center has planned to distribute the national identity cards to 110,000 residents of Panchthar and 7,000 government officials through various stages and to all citizens within the next 3 years, the cost for which is estimated to be above 7 billion rupees. The national identity card is expected to store information of all other important documents in a chip embedded in the card. At a time when the government has been voicing slogans of economic prosperity, commercial banks have reached a situation where they cannot provide loans. When joint efforts should have been made to address the issue, the leadership at the Ministry of Finance and the Nepal Rashtra Bank appear to be disinterested due to their bitter relationship. A letter sent to the Nepal Rashtra Bank by Finance Ministry on 8th of October questioned the bank's decision of sending a relatively new deputy director to the International Monetary Fund. Finance Minister Yuvraj Khattiwada himself had sent a deputy director to the International Monetary Fund when he was governor. In another context, the Finance Ministry has stalled 3 international visits of Governor Chiranjeevi Nepal in the past 8 months. The international visits that were stalled were the Washington Summit of the International Monetary Fund, the Basel Committee meeting in Switzerland, and the Sochi visit in Russia. These incidents are witnesses to the sour relationship between Finance Minister Khattiwada and Governor Nepal, who was appointed during the government led by Nepali Congress. The relationship between the two is deteriorating by the day. Despite receiving invitations, Governor Nepal sends the deputy governor to attend programs where Finance Minister Khattiwada is expected to show up. In such a situation of polarization between two significant personalities, issues surfacing in the financial sector will be tough to resolve. Banks have not been able to provide more loans because of liquidity shortage. Meanwhile, the state coffers are getting heavier with more than 200 billion rupees due to snail-paced development works. After reaching the Finance Ministry in the 3rd week of October, Executive Director of the Investigation Department of Nepal Rashtra Bank, Narbahadur Thapa, attributed the liquidity crisis to the failure in spending the development budget. Finance Minister Khattiwada wasn't impressed with the reasoning and pressured the governor to transfer Thapa. While the Nepal Rashtra Bank has remained silent regarding addressing the liquidity crisis in the market, it has also been ignoring the regulation of banks that have been amassing profits. The interesting fact is that the Finance Ministry, which was more interested in the transfer of a department head of Nepal Rashtra Bank, has failed to take any meaningful step on issues of serious concern. Nepal Rashtra Bank is a central bank and an independent entity. However, Governor Nepal has also failed to deliver on his responsibilities, thus fueling space for the Finance Minister to intervene on the entity's independence. The number of cases that are under consideration at the Supreme Court has crossed 20,000. A strategic plan formulated to sort out the pending cases efficiently had helped reduce the number of cases to 9,000 9 years ago. The judiciary is not devoid of adequate judges, staff, and budget at the time being, but still, the number of cases under consideration has unreasonably increased. The Supreme Court has a posting for 21 full-time justices, and there are 19 justices working at the Apex Court after the removal of Gopal Parajuli as the Chief Justice. The government has been increasing the Apex Court's budget every year. Taking into account the statistics of the cases in the past 2 years compared to 3 years ago, the rate of new cases has actually been declining instead of increasing. However, the number of pending cases has crossed 20,000, a clear indication of inefficiency in sorting out the cases. This has also raised questions regarding the justice delivery mechanism at the Apex Court. Besides inefficiency in ensuring quick access to justice to the public, this depicts a rampant managerial weakness in the judicial and administration sectors. Experts have suggested that the efficiency in justice delivery could also be increased by keeping the programs of NGOs and INGOs along with unnecessary foreign tours in less priority. Failure to introduce an effective mechanism to expedite the sorting out of persistently pending cases is likely to cause a steady decline in people's trust on the country's judiciary. We'll take a short break here. We have more news coming up. Welcome back. Private medical colleges have been charging arbitrary fees from MBBS students by ignoring the criteria set by the government. The private medical colleges affiliated to the Tribhuvan University and Kathmandu University have been found of charging up to 2.2 million rupees more than the fee set by the government. On the 12th of October, the meeting of the Council of Ministers decided that the medical colleges within the Kathmandu Valley could charge up to 3,850,000 rupees from MBBS students, with the figure standing at 4,245,000 rupees outside of Kathmandu. However, private medical colleges have been charging 5 million to 6.1 million rupees from MBBS students. The colleges affiliated to the Tribhuvan University and Kathmandu University have been charging additional fees from students under numerous headings. These colleges, however, have not provided the students with receipts for such payments. The private medical colleges have said that they cannot run MBBS classes at the fee set by the government. They are of the opinion that the government regulations, including reducing the number of seats and restriction on increasing fees for 3 years, have put them at the receiving end. At a time when private medical colleges have openly been saying that they cannot conduct MBBS classes at the fee set by the government, the Education Ministry has been waiting for complaints so that it can take necessary actions. Students are scared of filing legal complaints and speaking against their colleges due to the fear of the college taking actions against them. Meanwhile, instead of monitoring the issue, universities appear to be lending silent support to the private colleges in charging arbitrary fees. The government itself should proceed for the implementation of the fees set by itself and to take actions against those ignoring the criteria. The Public Accounts Committee of the Legislature Parliament has shown interest regarding Nepal Airlines Corporation's procurement procedure of 2 wide-body Airbus aircrafts. The meeting of the Public Accounts Committee held yesterday decided to summon the Secretary at the Tourism and Civil Aviation Ministry, Executive Chairman of Nepal Airlines Corporation, and its Managing Director. The committee has said that it would interrogate regarding the aircraft procurement procedure, report of the Office of the Attorney General, and the implementation of its past directives at the meeting slated for 25th of November. Nepali Congress lawmaker Minendra Rizal had demanded discussion at the committee, citing irregularities in Nepal Airlines Corporation's procurement of the wide-body aircrafts. Nepal Airlines Corporation had purchased the 2 aircrafts for around 22 billion rupees. We have more news coming up, but right now it's time for another short break. Welcome back. The federal government started a national campaign against drug abuse on 29th of September from Rupandehi's Butol, which is considered as one of the main transits for illegal drugs. However, the campaign has not helped decrease the extent of drug abuse. In this context, we had asked the stakeholders in Rupandehi what should be done to control the abuse of drugs among youngsters. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
बालबच्चाहरु घुम्न जाने अथवा कता जाने भन्छन् के ल्याएर कहाँबाट खान्छन् भन्ने त्यो पनि हामी सचेत छैनौं त्यसमा हामीले सचेत रहनको निम्ति त हामीले एक त टोलबाटै यो कार्यक्रम पनि चलाउने अथवा सचेतनामूलक कार्यक्रम गर्न पर्ने हुन्छ
पुलमुनि अथवा कुनै एकान्त ठाउँहरुमा बसेर लागु औषधहरु सेवन गरिरहेको म देख्छु अब उनीहरुलाई गएर अब हामीहरुले केही भन्दाखेरि उनीहरुले चाहिँ अब हामीलाई चाहिँ एक्सन लेलान् भने हामीहरु डराइरहेका पनि हुन्छौं अब उहाँहरुले चाहिँ त्यसको लागि चाहिँ सिभिलहरुमा एक दुई जना आफ्नो प्रहरीहरु यसो राउन्डिङको लागि छोड्नु पर्यो
लागु औषध प्रयोग गरेपछि तिम्रो स्वास्थ्य यस्तो हुन्छ तिम्रो जीवन यस्तो हुन्छ भनेर उनीहरुलाई समयमा चेतना चाहिँ अलिकति वृद्धि गर्न सकियो भने लागु औषधि नियन्त्रण गर्न सकिन्छ
छोराछोरीका अभिभावक छन् उहाँहरुलाई पनि छोराछोरीको लागि सचेत हुने एउटा तालिम एउटा ज्ञानगुणका कुराहरु सिकाउने हो भने लागु औषध केही मात्रामा नियन्त्रण हुन सक्छ
दिवसहरु मात्रै मनाएर भएन त्यो दिवस मनाइरहेको अवस्थामा चाहिँ कुना र काप्चामा पनि गएर हेर्नु पर्यो कन्दाराहरुमा चाहिँ इन्जेक्टिङ गरेर बसिरहेका भाइ बहिनीहरुले के गरिरहेका छन् त उनीहरुको लागि भोलिको दिनमा के गर्न सकिन्छ
डाक्टरको सिफारिस बिना जुन औषधि बेच्ने चलन छ त्यसलाई पहिलो रोक्नु पर्छ
It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question. Why have actions not been taken despite the private medical college charging fees higher than the criteria set by the government? Your options are A, government indifference, B, involvement of university officials, and C, victims remaining quiet. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 3. And it's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Hosts Portugal drew 1-1 against Poland in Group A3 of the UEFA Nations League last night. Andre Silva gave Portugal a 1-0 lead in the 33rd minute of the match with a clinical header. Arka Duiz Milik then came up with an equalizer for Poland through a penalty kick in the 66th minute. Hosts Portugal had already qualified for June's inaugural Nations League finals alongside England, the Netherlands and Switzerland, while Poland could not avoid relegation. Portugal topped Group A3 with 8 points, 3 points ahead of Italy. Portugal were undefeated despite the absence of star forward and captain Cristiano Ronaldo. And now, before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. National ID cards fail to replace other documents meant for individual identity for official works, attributed to the lack of clear legal provisions. Resentment between finance minister and governor intensifies, leads to uncertainty in the process of expediting the country's economy. At least 50 people reported killed in a powerful suicide bomb blast that targeted a large gathering of top religious figures in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. And Portugal settled for a 1-1 draw against Poland in Group A3 at the UEFA Nations League, secure semi-final berth. And that's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 this morning. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good morning.